Excuse the pants a lot. He's just been for his walk, so he's a bit out of breath. He's gonna nap. Good boy. Not Sir Pants a lot anymore. I'm in the growing out phase of my copper hair now. It's actually Halloween today, and I'd done the copper hair for Halloween, for autumn, but mostly for Halloween. And now I am growing it out. Can you get out of the rubbish? Today is going to be an interesting day. I don't know if I'm going to combine everything together, but I need to make some, well, I want to make some honey oat bread. I haven't baked bread in a very long time, so hopefully my bread maker still works. But the main thing I need to do today is make Key a brace for his right wrist, because the brace that I bought two. One of them has vanished, cannot find it anywhere, no idea where it's gone, it's just vanished. But in all honesty, it doesn't actually support him. It slides off his ankle really easily, and it is too stretchy, so it basically allows his ankle to hyperextend anyway, so even if I did find it, it wouldn't do much good. The second brace I got does help. I mean, it's still not a firm support, so his leg does have some ability to move, but it doesn't drop down nearly as much as it does without any support. Trouble is, it's falling apart. I'd measured his ankle and I bought him a brace that would fit his ankle. But then when I put it on and he wore it for the first time, it rubbed his ankle wrist bone and made it raw and bleed. So I have to put strapping on underneath, which means the brace doesn't fit properly now. Which resulted in the Velcro coming undone, it popping open at the side, the Velcro getting covered in dirt, and also putting strain because it has two metal splints, and it was putting strain because it was able to bend too much because of the Velcro being open in places. It meant that the metal brace was pushing up against the seams and splitting the seams open. So it's falling apart. Couple that with the fact that when the Velcro splits open, it slides down his leg a bit more and scuffs on the floor, which means there's little bits of holes in the neoprene. And one of the Velcro straps just won't do up at all now. And I've been trying to get the triple XL, which is the largest one they sell, but I can't get it. And also they only come in black, and he's lost his a couple times, and they're quite hard to find when they're black. And black's not really his colour is red. So I bought some red neoprene fabric. It's not as thick as I wanted it to be, and it's a little stretchier than I would like it to be, but I'm hoping with the bias tape on the top and the bottom and the Velcro strapping, I'm going to add an extra strap across the middle to go above his wrist joint. So there'll be one just below his knuckle, and then there'll be a strap just above, and then there'll be one at the top of the brace. So there'll be an extra strap to help keep it in place and to also try and stop the neoprene from stretching, because I don't want it to be too stretchy and not supportive. I've not made something like this before, and I've never actually stitched neoprene before. I think it should be fairly simple. I've stitched through swim fabric, similar but thicker. We'll get it done. What are you doing? He likes to lay with his head in the fireplace because that's comfortable, isn't it? I should hopefully have a top-down camera. I have a little arm that I'm going to stick on a tripod, so hopefully I'll be able to film top-down and get a better view of me actually making something, which we never normally have. Oh, and there might be some Halloween decorations in the background because I'm filming this on Halloween, and I was going to pack them away before filming this video, but then I forgot that I was going to do that, so we're just going to get on and make this brace. So this is what it looks like at the moment. We have holes. Yeah, he wants it to leave. Okay. I'm not putting it on you. So we have holes here. We have hairy Velcro. This piece actually still sticks, not well, but it does stick. These curly pieces of Velcro are done. They're just literally done. There's where the splints have split through. And on the bottom as well, all falling apart. And here's where the other splint is. It will come out there if it bends too much. And that end, where he scuffed it on the floor, it's shorn away the edge of the bias tape and the neoprene. So this was the 2XL, and it's too small for him.
I somehow feel overly prepared and under-prepared for what I'm doing. This is the neoprene I bought. I wanted 3mm because when I was looking at the braces, one actually said that it was made with 3mm neoprene. I couldn't buy it, so I had to go with 2mm. This is how stretchy it is in both directions. This is the one wrap, so it sticks to itself pretty well. So I've already drawn up a little pattern. Not a very detailed pattern, but it's got where the stitching needs to go, and I made it longer than that one. I've got 2 pieces of bias tape that I've already cut. It's just cotton fabric that's folded over. So I think that's the first step after cutting out the neoprene, is I need to stitch this to the top stitch this to the top and bottom of the rectangle. Then I think the next step, because I'm adding an extra Velcro strap, this one only has top and bottom, and then I want one in the middle, and because the splints go down the full length, I think the first strip I need to do is, I just noticed that that's Velcro. I'll need to add that strip of Velcro first, because I can't have any stitch lines going through the middle of where the Velcro, of where the splints need to go. I don't like touching that brace, it's so stinky. Stinky and gross. It has been washed, but not recently. It's just falling apart, and if it goes in the washing machine again, it might not come out in one piece. I think this is in a good position, you know. I'm getting better at making things that work first time round. It doesn't always happen though. I don't often do mock-ups because it slows me down. In this instance, there's not really a need for a mock-up because you need to kind of make it out of the material it's going to be made out of anyway to see if it's going to do the job. And it's not overly complicated, I think. I got some cheese arriving today, yay! I love cheese, bit of a tangent. I love cheese so much, but dairy doesn't really like me in the skin department. It brings me out in spots if I have too much dairy, so like cheese and milk and things. So I completely switched my milk from dairy milk to oat milk, and I get the oat milk from Aldi. It's their brand, and it's the best one I've tried. It doesn't taste like oats particularly, it just tastes nice, and it's the only oat milk I've tried that I've liked. Cheese is a bit harder. There are some cheeses that I have from Aldi, but I like flavoured cheese. It's a bit harder to get the artisanal cheeses, and then I was scrolling through Facebook and then this brand Kinda Co popped up. I was like, okay, gonna go try that. So I've got garlic cheese, garlic and herb, there's a chilli, which I might not like because I'm not a spice fan. I don't like hot food that means you can't taste your food anymore. And then there's a truffle one, and I got the selection that comes with crackers and caramelized onion chutney. So it's a completely vegan little hamper thing, and that's arriving today and I can't wait to try it. Random tangent over. So I didn't check the amount of stretch, but it seems to be not too bad actually that way. There is some stretch in that. Obviously the bias tape is stopping some of it, although bias tape is designed to stretch, but it's not going to be as stretchy as that. And then all the layers of Velcro will stop it from stretching. So now I can look at it. I will be taking them out because I don't have metal splints lying around, so I will be reusing those ones in my brace. So let's stitch these bits on next. For the vertical strips, 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 verticals and there'll be 3 horizontals. Because this is only 2mm, and the neoprene that I had prior to buying the red, which I thought I could use, but then realised it was too thin, is only 1mm, and also is only 2-way stretch. So it stretches up the leg, but it won't stretch around the leg. So I thought on the inside I could line it. The black would stop the red from stretching, and it would also make it 3mm. So I'm going to tackle around the outside. Then I'll add the bias tape to the top and bottom. Probably need to add to the sides as well. Okay, you can kind of see what I'm doing, I guess. Okay. Not my straightest of lines, but now I need to put the bias tape on. And I have a foot for that. There, I guess. Just fed the bias tape into the foot. Neoprene in the little gap in between. One side. I've got bias tape on. I'm definitely never buying bias tape this thin again because it's ridiculous. So, put one here. So we have one there, one there. To go over the top. One there. So just down one end on all three. Then I can put the larger piece over the top, making sure I leave a tunnel for the splint, and then pull that back out of the way to do the middle splint closure, which I'm just going to do with Velcro because that's what I've got. And then on the opposite side is where I will make sure that the hooks are visible on this to do this one, which has no splint inside. Okay, this seems quite simple now that now that this has fallen apart a bit more. I can see more of the construction elements of it. Right, so order of processes is stitch down the edge, stitch down the edge of these, and it's soft side up. So I just do a little square, maybe a cross in the middle, on all three strips. This is going to look so cool, red and black. So all three of these strips, I'm just going to stitch down one side. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm stitching the Velcro just to the side of the bias tape, just so that it's not too close to the edge that's going to be contacting the ground. That should be far enough. There we go, got one just stitched on there. And now I'm going to do the next two. Okay, so these are all on. Got all of them on with a little box, and can you focus? Can you focus? Hello? Hello, focus. Okay, I think that's in focus. I was stitching on the other side, so I couldn't really see very well through the Velcro. So the boxes don't completely line up with the crosses, but the crosses add extra strength. And you can also see that I have made the middle strap slightly higher, so it'll be going this way up, and then gives a bit more room for his ankle wrist bone to be in this lower section, because I always put it on him, this one, I put it on him this way with the strapping hanging out one side and wrap it around, so I know that I'll always be putting it on the same way each time. That way around, so it'll be that way up with the wider bit at the bottom. This is Velcro on Velcro, and that's going to literally stick all the way down there. How do I get this to go in there past the Velcro? I do think adding the bias tape first is the best option. I will buy wider bias tape if I make this again, which I probably will. If it works, I'll make another one. If it doesn't work, I'll try another approach, but I will want him to have two anyway, so that one can go in the wash. And this, I think this was about £96 for this, so I'll be saving myself quite a bit of money if I make these myself. I don't understand how it's that expensive. No shade to the company or anything, because all of the braces I looked at, lots of different companies, they're all very expensive for a strip of neoprene with Velcro and some metal braces. Some of them don't even have metal supports in them. They're for like light support, and they're just neoprene and Velcro and a bit of bias tape and thread, and they are so expensive. And that was the main complaint I saw on all of the reviews, the customer reviews, was how expensive they were for what you get. So
yeah, if I can make them myself, I will be very happy. And then it just needs to slide inside here. Oh, it slides in fine. It doesn't stick too hard to that Velcro, so that's good. You can see it does stick to the neoprene. And this pillowing is going to be fixed with the stitching, so that's good. I won't be stitching these bits to it, so I will have to move them out of the way and then stitch that down straight as I can get it. So yeah, I'm going to do that bit, and I'm going to go across the bottom. I'm going to leave the top open, so I'm just going to reinforce along there because that's where the splint's going to go in. But this one I will add one of the little flaps so that it doesn't poke out the top. That's one of the issues we've had with that one, is it poking out the top. I've given myself about 1 centimetre at the top for the splint to slide inside, and for me to stitch on a flap at the top, which will be about 1 inch of, I'll go inside there, in the middle. Cool, okay, let's do this then. That one first, then that one. I've got my needle right over to the side, so I'm trying to give myself as much room for the splint to fit as possible. I'm going to stop before the bias tape because I don't want the Velcro to go all the way to the ground, to the very bottom. I say the ground because his brace always ends up in the ground. Moment of truth, will the splint fit in the Velcro strapping? Oh, catching on the middle strap. Come on, you can do it. Hang on. There we go. I have to bypass the top of the strapping. But ooh, there we go. Now it's in. Okay, it's going all the way to the bottom. I'm sorry about this camera angle. Let's try something different. There we go. So it's all the way in. Wiggle it out. Yay! So now I need to pull these back out of the way. All of these out of the way. And then I can do the middle splint support. Down about there. Should give me enough room. So these go either side of his ankle. So when you wrap it around, the splints are on the outer sides, and then his little bean, toe bean, will be pressing against this. But hopefully it'll be in this wider section here. Okay. Now I can add my little tabs at the top that stop the Velcro. I keep getting the names of everything wrong. I'm now going to put the tabs at the top to stop the splints from coming out. They just have a little stitch line at the top, and then they stick down like that. So then this goes in here, and this one won't have any resistance because there's nothing in the way. Yay! I just need to trim the end down. So that's one splint in, and now I need to attach the top. I'm just going to wiggle this splint out. Don't want to accidentally catch it. I'll put these out of the way because they're very irritating. They're just nesting together. They're just all stuck together. Let go. I don't know which one goes where. It's like those little kids puzzles you get in restaurants where you've got to follow the wiggly line. Oh, this one's joined almost perfectly in line, so it looks like one piece. Right, so that can go down there, and then, oh, there we go, and there. There we go, now they're out of my way. So I can put this one on. And then the last piece is the closure Velcro on the inside. It sticks to the Velcro. See, when you see how these are constructed, it does make you wonder why they charge so much. And it's actually fairly simple. Right, now I need to get the
the Velcro onto this side, so I'm going to swap to the other camera for a minute. So this is what we've got now. I've got both my splints in. Oh, it's so good, and it feels nice and rigid too, which is really good. I need to trim these bits down. I'm going to be sad when he starts to destroy it by walking and getting it filthy and things, but it wasn't hard to make. I can make more, but hopefully it'll be better fitting and less likely to fall down his ankle. So the last piece of Velcro, I'm stitching this way up. I'm going to put some more bias tape. That's so annoying. That's so annoying. I'm going to put some bias tape along this edge. This edge seems fine. And maybe this edge would be fine once I've stitched it, but I'm going to put some bias tape on it. And then I'm going to stitch this on the inside with the hook up, because this needs to attach to this piece. I forgot to press record. I've done the bias tape on that one open end, and I'm stitching the hook side up Velcro on the inside of the brace. And this one I don't need to leave open at the top because it doesn't have a splint inside. I'm realising as I was stitching that this is a stitch line that you will be able to see in the red, because it's going to be the actual bit that's on display, but that doesn't matter. It's done. It's done. But is it done? Depends on if I need to add more Velcro. So I do need to try it on him just to make sure. See if I need to add the extra bit of... I'm going to be annoyed at making this with 3 straps of Velcro. It's bad enough with 2 sticking to each other. Kind of want to put my logo in here. White, grey. I think white. These are the neck logos I put inside my t-shirts. Why? I got my brown dog leg brace. Different, not something I thought I would be making, but here we are. Come here. Good boy. I just need to check that it's going to do up properly. I might need to... Oh, I need to put the other strapping on. It looks a bit saggy, but I haven't got the wrapping underneath that I would normally put with it. You're such a good boy. You are such a good boy. I don't actually need as much of this. Oh, sorry. He said, why are you doing this to me again today? I could probably cut this much shorter. This is just to stop it from rubbing. And then this goes on. Stay there. Put that. I know you don't like it. You don't like any braces, but it helps. Should we see you walking in it? Over there? I didn't see, I wasn't looking. Did it? Did it work? Go this way. Come this way. I can't tell. This neoprene is a lot softer. I'm glad I put the extra layer of black in there, and I'm definitely glad I put the middle strap, but I do feel like maybe this neoprene is a little too stretchy for the support that I want, so I might need to look into some different neoprene, but for a concept it works. Right, you can come off now and you can go back to sleep. There we go. All free. Free to go. Free to go back to sleep. Yeah. You're a good boy. My first attempt at making a leg brace. So my final thoughts on the brace that I've made. You can see it's been well worn and there is some breakage. It's also soaking wet because we've just been to the field where Key gets to run around off lead and the grass is all wet. It works. It could work better.
Things I will change to improve it. The top fits perfectly, so with the extension that I made, it fits perfectly around the top of his leg, but the bottom needs to be tighter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to taper this side that doesn't have a splint in it. So I will just taper it down just about half an inch in at the bottom, because I always put it on him a certain way up, which is why I was able to put my logo that way up. I've also bought some wider Velcro wrap. Here is meant to be wider. I'll put the wider Velcro on the inside, that way it's got more to overlap. There is some tension happening here where the brace is sort of sitting at an angle and putting pressure on the stitches, which is why the splints are coming out. To combat that, he wants to come in. On a side note, he's actually got an ear infection at the moment. I've just been to the vets, so he's got a bit of a grubby right ear. I have just put eardrops in for him. I was putting his brace on, incidentally, and I smelt his ear, and it smelt very bad. So I had a look in it, and then I smelt the other ear, and that smelt fine. So booked him an appointment, managed to get an appointment for half an hour's time from when I trained him up, so that was lucky. So the first option for the stitching is put more lines of stitching, reinforce it, less likely to pop through one layer of stitching if there's multiple layers of stitching. The other option is to sort the fabric out so that it's not so stretchy. Two ways I can do that is, one, try and find a neoprene that is only two-way stretch or no stretch. I don't know if this exists, because I think the main purpose for neoprene is wetsuits, and you need a little bit of give in that to get in them. If you've ever tried to put a wetsuit on, you'll know. I don't know if I can get no-way stretch neoprene, but I will look into it. But two-way would be better than four-way, which is what this red is. The black is two-way stretch. The other option is to put some interfacing in between. So you can get interfacing that irons onto one side of fabric or both sides. I think both sides would be better. I don't currently own any, but I can buy some. And it's basically a woven fabric that has a glue that is heat reactive, works with heat. That basically stops fabric from stretching. I don't know how good it will do against the neoprene and his ankle bone, whether it would just end up splitting open in between the two layers of neoprene, but I would definitely think that's the first choice to try, just because I have one-sided interfacing. It's got glue on one side, so it sticks to one side of the fabric, so I'd stick it to the red. So I might as well try that, because I've got all of the materials to do that before I try buying a new fabric. Better to work with what I've got and see if I can improve it. I also realised that I didn't actually need to raise this strip up. It can go in the centre and it'll be fine, because it wasn't interfering anywhere near his ankle. And also lowering it down will give less room for the fabric to push out anyway, so that would help with it being pushed too far. You can see actually that is bulging up. That's simply from him wearing it, that it's slightly deformed the fabric. But otherwise, my little flaps work fine, hold the splints in. There's currently no holes in even the bias tape where it sits, where it rubs against the concrete when he walks, if it goes down that low. So that's good. There's a little bit of defluffing here. I think that's the edges of the bias tape, because I didn't finish the edges properly, and also it's connecting with a piece of Velcro. All of the Velcros are still working properly. There is some grass stuck in there. And there's a little bit of wear on this piece of Velcro. I don't know how these scuffs happened, but all in all, it's worked pretty well, and he's been wearing it for the past week. It's working. It just needs a few improvements, and it fits over this. This is the wrap that I use underneath to stop rubbing. I cut a piece about that long, and it has Velcro on one side, and it's washable, reusable. So we have a couple of those, and one goes in the washing machine. That strap fits on fine with this, but the old one would not fit. So yeah, that's my final opinion on the brace. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one. I'm pretty sure if you ask him, he'll say He doesn't like it. Teddy doesn't want to wear it. He doesn't like any of them. Your pointy ears. Yeah, this is a dirty one. That one, she said, is starting to go. So we do the drops in both ears twice a day.